Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, followers of our website CaleaEuropeana. We are in Brussels today, joining a very important debate about the future of energy in the European Union, Dash for Gas, an important event organized by Politico, the main voice of European media. And now we are talking about, after discussion we had tonight, the Commissioner for Energy, Mrs. Adina Volean, MEP for Energy, also MEP of the Year for Energy. What can you say about this event?
Well, I think it showed up some of the most important debates. One is how much gas will Europe need in the future? And there are different views on this. We heard from the Lithuanian energy minister who said they built an LNG terminal to import liquefied natural gas from around the world, and that gave them more. Gazprom cut the gas prices in order to compete. So it showed up very clearly that the further east you go, the more dependent countries are on Russia and on Gazprom. It's very much a security issue. For Western Europe, it's a question of what role can energy efficiency play. So those were quite important debates, and I think the Commissioner showed he has a very pragmatic attitude, and the important thing is an energy mix. So if you invest time and effort in securing extra supplies, but also if you invest in infrastructure, in interconnectors, you can have a more competitive market, and that way you can reduce the monopoly power of a supplier like Gazprom and make sure that you have security of supply in winter when energy becomes a politicized issue.
Well, Politico, it's one of the key players on the media market in Europe. How important is the role that media should play in these talkings about energy issues? Sometimes we think that it appears to be technical, only political, but with very important social effects.
I think Politico is here in Brussels for a reason, because we've rightly identified Brussels as a centre of power, of important decision-making that affects energy companies. We had this evening executives from Shell, executives from Aon, the German energy company, because decisions that are taken here in the European Parliament by MEPs like Mrs. Vălean affect energy companies, whether it's the emissions trading system, whether it's the internal energy market, whether it's interconnectors, whether it's reverse flows. Brussels is an important centre for energy policy, European energy policy, and Politico reflects that. And that's why we also have a specialist newsletter, a daily newsletter focusing on energy issues.
Well, it seems that Politico, after entering in Brussels, started to change the way that it's going to be played the media role. And I saw some articles in British media, for example, regarding the way that political journalists are making their job. How do you feel the journalists from Politico, how they are integrated themselves in this area?
I think there's been a slightly deferential tradition in European political reporting. Maybe too much deference to the Commission, to MEPs, and Politico's approach is very much we're going to be fair but critical, and when we see things that are not going well, we'll flag it up. And it's written in a very lively style. It's aiming to be readable, maybe a bit more. It's aimed to be maybe accessible to people who are not EU or Brussels Beltway experts, as we call them, so that people across Europe, across the 28 member states, and indeed across the world, in the US, in Asia, can follow what's going on in Europe. There's a lot of interest in the decisions being taken here, and to follow it in a readable, accessible way. And I think that's Politico's mission, and I think it's one that we're well on the way to achieving.
Well, thank you so much. And for the final remarks, what message would you have for... we have many Romanians interested in European affairs and global affairs. Tens of thousands of them are following us on Facebook, on Twitter, on our website. Which is your message for Romanian consumers of European information?
I looked at your website when you got in touch about this event, and I was very impressed by the breadth of coverage, and it seems like a very useful resource. So I would say to your Romanian viewers, carry on watching, or start watching if you haven't done so, but there are other sources out there, so combine them together and you'll get a richer picture.
Thank you so much, and success in what you do in Brussels.
Thank you.